time to sing the Joy Song. Please stand. It's up here on the wall. Good morning, everybody here, and a special welcome to the people watching on the internet. Are there any new people here today, or any visitors? No? Okay, just good old friends. Not old, but good friends. Let's remember during our service today that it's July the 4th weekend, and we want to give thanks for the servicemen and women, past and present, that have kept this country free, where we can have whatever kind of celebration we want. We thank you, them. The guest musicians this week are William Penn, Eddie Wiggins, and Bill Huffman. And the reader is Melanie. And Melanie, where are you? It's time.
Good morning. Good morning. The Christ in me greets the Christ in you this morning. That place of oneness is heaven. You're there now. You're never not there because you are never not one with me. This is what I would have you know. This is what I would have you take at last from any conversation with me. And here is my message, the message I would seek to leave with the world. My children, you are in heaven, and hallowed is your name. Your kingdom is come, and your will is done on earth as it is in heaven. You are given this day your daily bread, and you are forgiven your debts and your trespasses, exactly to the degree that you have forgiven those who've trespassed against you. Lead yourself not into any temptation, but deliver yourself from all the evils that you've created. For my child, yours is the kingdom and the power and glory forever. Go now and change your world. Go now and be your highest self. You understand now all that you need to understand. You know all that you need to know. You are now all that you need to be. You never were anything less. You simply did not know this. Now remember. Seek to carry this remembrance with you always. Seek to share it with all those whose lives you touch. For yours is a destiny grander than you might have ever imagined. You've come to this room to heal this room. You come to any space to heal that space. There is no other reason for you to be there. And know this, I love you. My love is always yours, both now and even forevermore. I am always with you, in all ways. You are my wonderful creation. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. That was beautiful. You're always so calm, cool, and collected. And I'm so nervous. Our opening hymn today is page 16, America the Beautiful. We'll sing verses 1 and 2.
This morning, I want to share a passage from Galatians 5:1. So why do we keep dipping back into the Bible? Because it's loaded. It is loaded from one end to the other with stuff that can help us live more powerfully, with greater freedom, with a greater sense that I'm not alone. I have something incredibly valuable to give to life, to give to the world. Doesn't matter what happened in the past, right now. For in God there is only now. Right now, there are blessings. And the blessings I want to talk about right this minute can be found in Galatians 5:1. Paul saying, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage." What are we in bondage to? Well, maybe we have to pay off the car or a gas bill or something like that. We're in bondage in that way. But the fact of the matter is that we are free. We are free in our souls. We were created that way. And nothing can take that from us. All sorts of things can happen on the outside. Oh, yeah. Heaps of things. We can get into bad places and be bondage to that, but always the freedom is. The freedom within us is bedrock, because the Father and I are one. There is no separation between this infinite power, this universal spirit, this presence of perfect good right here in you right now and forever. You don't ever have to be in bondage to fear. Yeah, there are things that spook us. We read the papers, we look at the news. Oh my goodness, the things that are happening around the world. Yeah, it's enough to scare you. But we do not have to be in bondage to that fear. It can go in one ear and out the other. Whoops. It can just leave us as quickly as it arrived because, why? We are part of the presence and the power of God. And, you know, in the Bible they talk about the putting on the armor of God. Yeah, that's really a neat idea. God is with me. I am forever protected. We can think that way and walk outside of the door of our house and feel protected, feel good. We need not be in bondage to anything, nothing. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free. Christ, that is Jesus and his teachings, but most especially what's happening within us, the Christ within, the spiritual dimension within us, which is our authority, which is our greatness and glory. God-given glory. Be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage, the bondage of fear, the bondage of irritation or anger or hard feelings or, darn it, why did that happen? The bondage of what the doctor said. He doesn't know it all. In bondage to nobody and nothing. Because you are sovereign beings, created in God's image. The yoke of bondage doesn't exist for you except in your own mind. Christ, Jesus in his teachings, and your own soul has made you free, and you are free forever. Shall we say our divine science statement of being? You'll find it in your orders of service. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Yeah.
rainbow. Eddie, over the rainbow. Over the rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow. We work well together.
Time for our healing meditation. And bring the prayer box to the front of the room. Thank you. A little square of cloth. Some bright colors on it. And yet it stands for so much. Stands for 240 years of people's effort, work, people sacrificing time and energies, people sacrificing their lives, their futures, their bodies, their minds, for us. What if you had been born in Bangladesh? How would your life be? What if you'd been born in Syria? How would life be right now? Or in Yemen? Or in Mongolia? Or in most of the other places in the world? When we ask ourselves that question, what comes into view is a way of life, a way of thinking, a way of living, a way of interacting with other people that is such a gift. So today, I would like our meditation to be one of gratitude, thanksgiving. Shall we close our eyes and take a deep, deep breath? And let it out slowly. And consider for a few moments our blessings, the things in this country that are so routine, are so taken for granted, we don't even see them. Not taken for granted in so many other places in the world. Let us be grateful for the fact that we can meet in this room with freedom and worship. Each in his own, her own way. So much to be grateful for. And not only for ourselves, but we express gratitude for all the people who are on our Valley Community prayer list, especially Anne today. We are grateful for the constant source of divine life that lives us, that blesses us. Divine mind that thinks us, that enables us to figure things out, to be creative, to know, to laugh, to enjoy, to live freely. For all their leadership around the world, we give thanks. Give thanks that God is their source and that they are hearing the wisdom that comes from that source. We are grateful for the blessings, for the protection of all our armed forces, no matter where they happen to be, in harm's way or in a place of safety and peace. But most especially for ourselves do we give thanks. Thanks for only those things that you know in your own heart. In the 90 seconds of silence that we are going to have right now, let us listen to the silent whispers within that tell us all the things for which we need to feel gratitude to God. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. We don't have to be heavy laden. Labor, yes, but we can release the burdens of mind and heart to an omnipresent force that loves us, that is with and within us, that never leaves us nor forsakes us, that is always there to help. Today we give thanks for our country, for the celebration of its 240th birthday tomorrow, for all the good that we have and all the good that is yet to come. Oh, beloved, father, mother, friend, lover, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Amen.
Amen.
My talk this morning is entitled, Get Out of Jail Free. Talking about freedom again, right? You know, I'm not a Monopoly aficionado. I haven't played Monopoly in about longer than I can remember. But I believe there's a card that you can draw, and it gets you out of jail, is this right? Without having to pay $100, right? Something like that. $200.
Either 1 or 200.
Okay. Well, with inflation, yeah. You know, there is a parallel in real life that you can find to get out of any kind of mental jail that you sometimes find yourself in. In our Divine Science Church, we pay a lot of attention, we put a lot of emphasis on listening. That is, listening to what's going on in our heads, to the silent messages that rattle around in there on an ongoing basis. Why? Well, we happen to know, and everybody does, that every thought releases chemicals into the body. Every single one. Negative thinking, fear, anger, hopelessness, just looking for maybe the faults or weaknesses of other people. Remembering the negativity, the things that went bad, much more than the things that were happy, that were, up and full of fun and fulfilling. All those things can be like mental prisons that poison our bodies as well as our life experience. Your daily life is no longer bright, it's no longer present, filled with future good or present good. No. Negative thinking virtually eliminates the beauty in life. You just don't see it. The sense of satisfaction that we all should have. And the realization that there is an unlimited possibility for good for all of us. That evaporates. That's gone when we are in that cloud of negative thinking. Especially, and sadly, negative thinking absolutely robs us of the positive, the satisfying spiritual life that we can have. Any sense of feeling of connection with God. I don't know. That we just can't get back there to that peaceful place. In Divine Science, we're taught certain spiritual laws, and among the most important of them is what we call the law of expression. Like creates like attracts like. You'll find it all over the place. You'll see it in social relationships, in work, in the family, in life, and certainly in our heads. What this means, though, is that sautéing your mind in negative thoughts and feelings will attract negative experiences. You'll be creating a life with more difficulties. But on the other hand, if you dwell in more peaceful thoughts, if you dwell in thoughts of kindness or seeing the good in other people, loving thoughts, positive thoughts, you're going to attract in exactly the same way. You're going to attract more and more positive blessing experiences. And again, positive thoughts release chemicals into the body that make it healthier, make you feel more vibrant and happier. Those silent, they seem like ephemeral things, they're just rattling around in your heads, are anything but unimportant. They are of enormous importance. They powerfully influence our health or our illness, our experiences, our relationships, our successes, our failures, yes. The whole panorama of our life experience. You live here, not at the address that you put on the label on your letters. You live here, between your ears. Last week, I told you about a program that Eddie and I saw on PBS several months ago. It was a Dr. David Amen, and he did a terrific job. I told you about a method that he spoke about that would transform your relationships, that would improve and really make a positive experience of your relationships with other people. Now, if you use Dr. Amen's ideas, that is, noticing what you like about people more than you notice what you don't like about people, well, you can be assured that you are going to have more comfortable, more happy relationships with virtually everyone you know, especially the people you live with. Now, if you weren't here last Sunday, of course, you can see the talk on the website. But it's a good one. It's got good ideas. Now, this week, I wanted to share another idea that he spoke about that reminded me once again of so much that we teach in divine science. Dr. Amen spoke about how to get out of a mental jail. Yeah, we're talking about freedom, aren't we? We're talking about being able to experience the best in life because we're not in a mental jail. He also talked about how to stop panic attacks. I don't know if any of you have had this problem in the past or maybe have had it in the present, but he shared the cure for panic attacks, at least the temporary cure for them. You know, he experienced a panic attack one time, and that's why it became so important to him. He was asked in his very first TV interview to come to the studio. It was an ABC studio, and so the appointed time came, he went, he was waiting for the interview, and he had a panic attack. His heart started racing, he couldn't breathe, he couldn't take a deep breath, he couldn't stop. These terrible, horrible thoughts were spinning around in his head. He was going to be a failure, he wouldn't be able to remember anything, he'd make a fool of himself before 2 million people. All he wanted to do was bolt. He wanted to get out of there and forget the whole thing. Leave him high and dry, didn't matter. Out. But then a rather amused voice in his head said, "People come to you all the time with this problem. Why don't you do the things you tell them to do?" And he did. When you have a panic attack, what's happening is that a part of your brain senses imminent danger and immediately gets overactive. And it starts your heart beating very rapidly so you can flee or, what is it? Flee or free? What is it?
Fight.
Fight or flight. Yes, that's it. So, the first thing you do is to slow your breath. It's to start taking deep breaths. And especially when you exhale for twice as long as you inhale. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But you're struggling to get breath. But this slows you down so that you can breathe more deeply. And as you do it, what happens, it calms the brain down. You can begin to breathe more easily. And very quickly you start feeling better. Now, the second thing to do if you have a panic attack is do something that's a little hard to do, and that is not to flee, not to get the heck out of Dodge. No. Unless, of course, you are in physical danger, you stay right where you are. Now, if your panicky response causes you to flee, what's going to happen is that fear will continue to control you. You stop it right there. Grab it by the throat, and you take charge. And third, and this is how you get out of mental jails, according to Dr. Amen, you start paying close attention to the things that are going on in your head, those negative, those fearful ideas. You pay attention to those unquestioned, uninvestigated thoughts that are going around and around and around in your head. Now, this is what I found so interesting in what he said. Divine science tells us that we have to stop our negative thinking. And how do we do it? Well, we suggest that try affirmations. Try saying affirmations to yourself. Or deliberately change your mental activity from negative to positive. Work on that right then. Or pray. Pray for yourself. Pray for a troublesome person, the person who's giving you a panic attack, whatever it is. Or think about God rather than the problem, according to Emmett Fox, right? But sometimes, for some people, it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to work as well as you want it to work. Dr. Amon's solution is to kill the ants. Kill the ants? A-N-T, ants. Ant means automatic negative thoughts. A-N-T, automatic negative thoughts. He says, and he's right about this, these ants can infest your life, your mind. They can ruin everything. Life can turn into a nightmare. It can wreak havoc with your relationships, with your sleep patterns. It can cause anxiety and depression. In the DVD, what he does is walk over and pick up a stuffed animal, an anteater, and he puts it under his arm and he says, all of us need an internal anteater patrolling the streets of our minds. Sad, nervous, mad, out of control automatic thoughts absolutely need to be written down. Did you ever think about doing that? Writing those thoughts down. Yeah, that's what he says you got to do. He says, ask yourself, are these thoughts true? Do these thoughts hurt me or help me? Now, you know, having a thought doesn't mean it's true. Lots of people think lots of things that are not true. Not true about themselves and not true about life. Is this thought true? Thoughts can lie big time to us. And it's all important to find out if your thoughts are lying to you. If they are, talk back to them. Talk back to them. Challenge them. When you talk back to them, it helps you begin to see how silly some of these ants, these automatic negative thoughts, are. Now, Dr. Ammon, he has a book, and we got that at the same time as we got the DVD. And in this book, he says there are 4 questions you need to ask yourself that can help to kill your ants. 1, is this stressful thought, this negative thought, true? 2, can I absolutely know it's true? 3, how do I react when I believe that thought? 4, how would I feel if I didn't have that thought? And then he says, you write down the answer to these 4 questions, and then you take the original thought and you turn it completely around and think of its opposite. Is the opposite true? As we talk back to our negative thoughts, we can begin to see in them a new light, and we might even start laughing at the things that we've been saying to ourselves that are really not the truth of us at all. And we may have believed them for a long time. By the way, I have a handout and with these questions, and for anybody who would like to kill some ants. I have it over there. So, when we put in place of these ants, these untrue, negative, limiting thoughts, when we put faith in their place, when we push them out of the way and instead focus on the belief in spiritual truth, that is, the truth that we read in our Bibles, that we read that Jesus Christ said, then we are on safe ground. Then we know it's going to be okay because we are out of that mental prison. The Bible tells us that our inner being, the eternal part of us that's called our soul, or the Christ within, was made in God's image and likeness. We don't have a clue about what that really means. Tiny little sparks of it now and then that bless and benefit us and everybody else. We see it sometimes. But we are all God's children, and that doesn't depend on anything we've earned. It doesn't depend on the material world. It doesn't depend on whether we've made mistakes or not, or if we've ever thought about God or not, if we have come from a different culture, a different religion, race, a different nation, a different, totally different belief system. Whether we've ever achieved material goals or societal or personal or even spiritual goals or not, we are God's child. We are His own. We are part of Him, inseparably. Jesus said, our Father, not my Father, and your Father, our Father, which art in heaven. That means that you and me and everyone else is of central importance to Him. And the difference between God is that He can concentrate on it all. You are the apple of His eye. You are central to His attention. You are loved unconditionally by this universal being that knows it all, is its all, and is you, with you, loving you, living you all the time. Instead of having ants, automatic negative thoughts, we need to have hats. HTTS, which means habitual truth thoughts. That's what we want. Hats. HTTS. We need to keep thinking and knowing I'm part of God. And all that He is right here within me and all around me. He is omnipresent. God is present within us. He is present in the whole material world that we experience through our five senses. And where God is, good is. Life, love, peace, understanding, wisdom, knowledge, joy. It's all present everywhere, inside us. Jesus said, only believe. Only believe. All things are possible to he who believeth. Believe it. Feel it. Know it. You can generate that feeling. To believe in the spiritual truth of yourself releases the innate powers within you, releases a wisdom that's not even of you. It just falls out of your mouth or comes into your mind. A goodness, a spirituality. All of that is released when we know the truth. We habitually think truth thoughts. That just automatically comes out. Do you know that limits of any sort are lies that you've told yourself? Limits are lies that you have told yourself. God's child is unlimited. Kill the ants. Get out of your mental jail. Yeah. And fill your mind with hats. Habitual truth thoughts. And then, as free as we are in our country, and we celebrate that, as free as we are, we will be dramatically freer yet. Let's close our eyes. And go within. And once again give thanks. we can kill the ants, the automatic negative thoughts, and replace them with something that frees us from the inside out, that transforms us, our feeling about ourselves, our feeling about life, the possibilities, the good, the blessings, the opportunities that God has provided. Oh, we give thanks. We give thanks for freedom, for the outer freedom, but most especially for the inner freedom. Thank you, Father, that it is available. Thank you, Father, that it is at hand and within. Amen.
been a huckleberry friend forever and me. We're after the same rainbows in waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend, moon, river, and me. This next one, we're going to sing it through twice, and then y'all going to sing it with us, okay? Ready to go? You're a grand old flag, you're a high and the river keeps taking away. You're the emblem of the land of love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats to the red, white, and blue, where the billows are brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eyes a grand old, now you all. You're a grand old flag, you're a high flying flag, you're the you're the emblem of the land of love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true to the red, white, and blue, where there's never no sore pain. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you.
I feel like saluting. I do that when I go to Washington D.C. too. I'm gonna walk down the street saluting. Oh, it's time for the blessing of the gifts. Today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
Basket with the little slips of paper, and ask those of you who are interested to take one of these names and pray for them through this coming week. You're blessing them more than you can possibly imagine, but most of all, you're blessing yourself. Nobody has to do this, but the better part of wisdom wants us to get that extra blessing, doesn't it? So I thank you for passing the basket along, taking one if you so choose.
I think Dan has some announcements.
Good morning. First off, I want to say, I've been coming to church for a long time, and these gentlemen have been playing music forever with us. And they just get better and better and better. Thank you all again for always. It's birthday Sunday, and because we're going to lunch afterwards, we're not having birthday cake today, we will have birthday cake next Sunday. So we'll have birthday cake then, we'll celebrate next Sunday, but we're going to sing today. Birthday for July are Tom Dean, Rick Milan, Gabby Parker, Earl Withrow, Beth Cranston, Tammy Mulkey, Doug Watts, and they forgot to put your name on her, Martha, but you're all set. Didn't calendar. You'll be reminded every Sunday of what's going on, but just this will give you a heads up as to what's going on all month. We can print some more, so feel free to take them home. If you have any questions about any of the events, please feel free to call us and let us know. Let's see. First off, I want to announce also, our friend Ann Dieter was supposed to have, we're still going to have neck surgery on Tuesday morning. But she had some issues last night. She is now at Lewis Hill Hospital, and she'll still have surgery on Tuesday. But I wanted everybody to know that she is in the hospital today. Don't know anything else other than she is in a room 305. Some of us will be going by later today, but she will have surgery on Tuesday, as far as we know. You don't have anything else, do you, Laura? You don't know anything else about?
No, that's all.
So please keep Ann in prayer. She's in good spirits with all this, so that's great. There will be no Monday night class tomorrow night because of the holiday. Next Saturday night, we had Dr., I think I'm pronouncing this, but Ahmed, he was here once Sunday a few weeks ago and talked about the Islam religion, but we felt like we needed to have him back because he didn't get to present everything we wanted to, and we didn't give him time for question and answers. So we're going to have him back on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. So please invite all your friends and come out and learn a little bit more about this religion because of all of the, there's so much hate and everything going on in the world now. So we felt like it was necessary to bring him back, and some of us didn't get to hear him when he was here either. So it'll be Saturday night from 7 to whatever time everybody wants to stay. This week's flowers are for the 4th of July, but we're going to send them to Ann so she can celebrate with us. Coming up sometime this summer or early fall, we need to paint the front of the church. So anybody that wants to get with us, and we'll make some plans to get it painted, but it doesn't have to be done today. But anyhow, this is something that we need to get done before cold weather gets here. So we'll be talking about that. So if anybody wants to volunteer to help with that, please let me know. Also, we need somebody that wants to volunteer to help to paint a basement, and I don't know when. Do you know when?
I clean it out first.
Okay. Just let us know, and we'll try to get 3 or 4 people to help do that. So
Fantastic.
okay, you owe us. You have to cook birthday dinner.
I don't want that.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let's see. I think that's all I had, and Maurita has an announcement she wants to make.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to tell you something that I'm really excited about. I've been calling and, well, emailing and negotiating with the office of Dr. Eben Alexander, seeking to find a time when he could come to Roanoke. And so a date has been set. It is November the 6th. He will be, if those of you who do not know who this man is, Dr. Alexander was a neurosurgeon, brain surgeon, who thought near-death experiences with just so much imagination until he contracted viral meningitis and was in a coma for 6 days. And they were about to turn off the life support and stuff like that. He opened his eyes. And he had had a near-death experience, and he wrote about it. I mean, the book has sold well over 2 million copies. I think it's been translated into something like 37 languages. And he is going to come to Roanoke. We have arranged to have him speak down at the Taubman Museum in the theater there. Central location and a very lovely place. And none of this is going to come out of the church funds, understand. He will be speaking here in church on the 6th of November between 11 and 12. And then from 2 to 5, he'll be downtown at the Taubman. And what he's going to do down there is, of course, talk some more about his near-death experience, take questions and answers, and then his life partner is going to share with us a meditation that will have a very kind of special kind of sound effect. It's going to be something, and I don't understand this really, but it entrains the brain so that there's a rhythm that's set up in the brain with what you're hearing, and you are taken to deeper levels of meditation. And there probably will be questions and answers that can be posed at that time too. So it's going to take 3 hours. We're going to have books available. He'll be glad to sign books. And so I'm just really excited about it. But we're going to need some help. The board and the ministers can't manage this by themselves. It's just a bit too large a project. But it'll be a very wonderful project, an interesting, fascinating project for us to hear this man. And it should bring some revenue into the church as well. So that's 2 double A's as far as I'm concerned. So I hope that when we ask for help, and we will need help with publicity, getting this word out to as many people in as many places as we possibly can, that we can count on your help. A book table and maybe ushering, that sort of thing. Ticket sales, whatever. But we're going to kind of grab you by the elbow and say, would you? And I thank you in advance for being willing to. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Knees don't fail me now. Our closing hymn today is page 85, "An Endless Love Abiding." Please stand.